my open rates were going down, and I was like, this is rude. So I hired a deliverability guy. He was like, well, you need to email your list more times a week. I think most people think, oh, I should have a standard day and a standard time that I send so everyone knows when it is. It's like a TV show, they can anticipate it. And maybe that does work for some people. I have found that my people honestly love to just like be completely blindsided. They love like, what is Jordan up to? What kind of craziness is this? I want it. What I'll do is usually twice a year, I will just do a clean boot of people. Like I will look at who has not been opening and clicking, and I'm just like, see ya. I use ManyChat like a crazy person. And again, it's funny. People are like, people hate ManyChat. I'm like, literally lies, because my data says my people love ManyChat, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
This is so interesting, and definitely I will be revisiting some of our growth strategies. Adding in that to my list of things to revisit after this.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Creator Podcast. We're here today with Jordan Gill, who is going to share her magic around selling on emails. And we're really excited. We got a bit of a preview on some of the ways that she approaches her emails. And you guys are going to find it very refreshing. I can tell you that firsthand. So stick around till the end. There's going to be a lot of value in today's episode. And have your notebooks ready because you're going to want to take notes. A little bit about Jordan, if you don't know her. One, she's amazing. She is the founder of Systems Saved Me. You may have heard of her. She's also an affiliate manager at Kit. And if you don't know what Kit is, it's formerly known as ConvertKit. It's an email platform. It's what we personally use to send our email newsletters every week, which, side note, if you're not on our email list, you should join. The link is in the description. But Jordan is the one who manages all the affiliates who love on Kit like we do. And she's also just incredible at sending emails herself. And she has a really unique approach towards emails, specifically around how they should be selling in your favor. And so I'm really excited for you guys to listen in on today's episode. So welcome to the podcast, Jordan.
Yes, thanks so much for having me. I am super excited about this topic. It's now what I live and breathe every day, but it's been a constant in my life for the last 10 years. So I'm really excited.
We are too.
So before we dive headlong into all things emails, just the fun softball question for you. What's your claim to fame?
My goodness. Oh gosh. I feel like I have multiple claims to fame, but potentially the one people most know me for is VIP days. So oddly enough, I had kind of a 2.5 year, like just taking over the internet when it came to talking about VIP days, helping other people create VIP days. And I had about 500 students go through my program in 2.5 years. It was
Dang.
bananas. I'm no longer selling that program, and it was still wonderful. And I still do VIP days myself. But yeah, that was probably my biggest claim to fame and what most people know me from.
Dang, that's pretty cool. I'm curious, since a lot of what we're going to talk about here today is emails, what was like the aha moment for you that made you realize how valuable emails are for a business owner and like moving the needle specifically?
I feel like for the first couple of years of my business, honestly, I did not take it that seriously. It was there, but I wasn't really driving people to it. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't taking like my, okay, one time a week, I'm going to send an email as seriously. I would say that definitely changed during kind of my VIP day era, my done in a day era in 2020 to 2023, because there were a lot of different initiatives and objectives that we had around selling that program that we just needed the heavy lifting of email for. And so that one, I definitely kept to my one time a week, sometimes 2 times a week. So I still probably didn't even like really double down with how my method is now until after done in a day, which was again kind of 2024, I would say, is when I was like, no, I'm going to like switch things up and do things a lot differently than a lot of people, because I want to create my email list as a space for selling, but not in a way of just like hammering people over the head. It's more, hey, do you have this problem? Like I have this offer, you know? So I would
Mm-hmm.
say most seriously, 2024.
Okay. Before we get into more of the questions that we have around emails, I'm really curious about the strategy behind making that decision for yourself, because everyone talks about how emails are so important and they can move the needle for your business. And that's great. But we also know how important it is to know who you're speaking to and where they are and how to properly market to them. So was there strategy behind that decision for you where you looked at, hey, my people are on my email list, and so I know that it's going to be worth spending my time trying to figure this out and experimenting with it until I find what works for me? Or was it more of a gut instinct where you just knew that you needed to put the time in to figure it out?
It actually came because I was having a deliverability issue.
Ooh, tell us
Uh,
more.
Really left field. Um, my open rates were going down, and I was like, "This is rude." Like, I've been emailing for however many years, and I thought, like, I was the golden child. And that was not the case. So, I hired a guy, a deliverability guy who just, like, live, breathe, eat, sleep deliverability, which was fascinating to me. And he was like, "Well, there's some, like, tactical stuff I had to switch behind the scenes that's super nerdy, but then the one thing that, like, really stuck with me is, like, you need to email your list more times a week." And I was like,
Mm,
"What? Like, what?" And again, you have that initial hesitancy of like, "Oh my gosh, I don't wanna bother people," or "They don't wanna hear from me that much," or enter any other similar thought. And he was like, "No, seriously, like, right now," and again, this was in 2024, Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail, whatever you use for email, the actual inboxes are prioritizing people who email more, because it's almost like the baseball analogy of like at bats, where it's like the more at bats you have and the more people are emailing
yeah,
your list during the week, the more likelihood that your email is going to stay in the primary inbox and not go to spam. So it came out
that's
of a
interesting.
deliverability issue. And then it's really just become like, I don't know, I just like I have an obsessive personality, so then when people tell me something that I have to do, I just like it becomes my entire being.
You're
And so I
all
was
in.
like, I am going to become like the email person. And so I was just like, okay, I'm going to get to 3 times a week. So I started doubling to 2 times a week consistently, got up to 3 times. And then all the nuances that I've learned that work really well for my email list have just been trial and error. But yeah, it first came because my my emails weren't making it to the main primary inbox.
It's so interesting. And now I am going to go back and look at our deliverability numbers to gut check what you just talked about on my
Yeah.
own numbers, because that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But when I hear you talking about sending 3 emails a week, I think a great level setting place for a lot of people, like whether they're hardcore committed to emails or just starting out, there's multiple types of emails, and we're all on email lists where people just talk about sending emails. Can you kind of break down what are the general types of email lists that businesses can have, and like what is the purpose of each? Because they serve a different role.
Mm-hmm. I think there's honestly even two types of email lists. There's like a newsletter, which I see very differently than a traditional email list. So a newsletter is where it's kind of got like the blocks thing going on, and there's like sections, and it's like what I, worked on in my business this week, and a tool that I want you to check out, and a event that I'm speaking at soon, like kind of more bulletin boardish. And
Hmm.
then there's like traditional email where it's usually one, maybe two points or call to actions, if you will. And so those are kind of two separate things. I don't have a newsletter. I don't do the chunky block. I mainly do the traditional email list where it's just one, maybe two call to actions per email. And then within that traditional email list, there's a couple different emails you can do, which is a nurture email, meaning that the point of it is I'm not trying to get anybody to send me money of any sort. It's more building a relationship. It's more sharing about myself or my business or something generic, or even sharing like a YouTube video that I created or a podcast interview that I was on recently. So
Hmm.
that is what I feel like most people are most comfortable sharing. And Then there's really the sales email. So I just see it as kind of 2 blocks. Sales emails are, okay, I am trying to get you to sell something. Even under the sales email, I see 2 different ones. There's my offers and then there's other people's offers. So collaborations, um, tools, affiliate stuff, those I see under the sales umbrella, but it's for other people's stuff, right? And so the 3 types that I stick to and what they do is sales email, trying to get them to buy something, other people's like affiliates or collaborations emails, and then nurture emails. So those are the 3 I see. And again, they serve different purposes, but they all are important. But I also see people, when you think about like the seesaw, they're like heavy on the nurture, not so heavy on the sales. And that's where it can get frustrating if you're emailing once a week and you don't want to be salesy, then a lot of times you're only emailing your list once, maybe twice a month to make
Mm.
money, which
Hmm.
in my personal opinion, I wanna make money more than once or twice a month. That's why, the conundrum is what it is.
So if you shifted to sending 3 emails a week, if you break down like the types that you had just outlined, what's the balance for you?
Mine is 1 nurture email to every 2 sales emails.
I
So that
like
is
that.
different.
You
That's
basically flipped it on its head. I mean, I remember way back in this is like pre-pandemic, so probably 2018, 2019. There was so much talk around you want to give, was it like three? I'm thinking about specifically on Instagram, like give 3 times before you ask once. And so like the ratio was very different and the inverse of what you just said, where something that I know you care a lot about is that if you're running a business, you're running a business to make money. And so don't, shy away from that, own it. So I want to hear more about that approach. If like the strategy for you is you're going to send 1 nurture email and then 2 sales emails, what does that tangibly look like? And how do you approach it in a way where you're owning the sales piece instead of like, hey,
right.
maybe please buy from me if you have the money kind of a thing, like what is your approach to it in a way that you're owning it?
This is such a great question, and here's the thing, like, I love my offers, and so when you are super pumped about your offers and you feel like these are the best things since sliced bread, like, why would I not wanna talk about them all the time, right? It's just like my sauna blanket. I could talk about my sauna blanket all day, every day because I'm obsessed with it, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. So people, I think where they get this like salesy mentality is sometimes when they may not feel as gung ho about their offers. They feel like they're either bothering people because of their offers. I don't feel like I'm bothering anybody about my offers, like not even a single pinch, because I'm like, this is dope and super helpful. Like, if I create something, there's plenty of, you want to talk about the graveyard of offers, there's plenty of stuff that I was like, "Oh, this is dope." And then in the middle of it, I had to think, is this dope? Is it really?" And then I just shelve it. And sometimes I come back to it, or sometimes it never sees the
Hmm.
light of day, because if I can't have that super excited energy around it, then it is going to feel kind of like, this is like, okay, kind
Yeah.
of hide it in the PS. Maybe you see it, maybe you don't, kind of energy. And so have to be gung ho about your offers. Secondly is my AC broke in my car last week, which I live in Dallas, Texas, and that's like literally such a tragedy.
Brutal.
Oh, so it was terrible. And I lasted like less than a day with that problem. And I was like, I am going to get this fixed immediately. And so I go to the mechanic, and instead of me being upset that he's going to sell me, hey, I can fix your AC, I'm like, please tell me how much I can pay you to fix my AC. Right. And so I have a very problem first approach to my offers where, like, it's so clear if you are having issues in this area, problems, challenges, like, this is the offer for you. It's not a, "This is nice to have." And if I feel like my offer is nice to have, I also don't sell it. Like, and that doesn't mean that it's nice, it's a huge problem for everybody, because my problems that I solve generally are very specific to my people, but I really like to figure out the highest pain point of the problem and just like zero in on a solution. So I would have a really hard time selling a generic or more broad offer specifically for me because that's a harder problem to solve for me. And so I keep my solutions really specific as well. So I can just like hit that nail every single time with a hammer. And again, just be able to share like, hey, if you are struggling, like this is the solution, not,
Right.
hey, you know, pay me money. It's like, it's very problem solution oriented and not, I'm not good with aspirational marketing either. That's just like been harder for me. So I stick to problems.
It's interesting, like talking through your example, like when I think about the difference between like being salesy and helpful, like the mental analogy I see is like being salesy is a car salesman that's trying to sell you heated seats when it's 90 degrees outside. I
Yeah.
just know it's going to go into his commission. Whereas like helpful is a doctor trying to sell you on stitches when you have a gash in your arm. Like you know that you kind of need them and you just like him to get on with it, or her, depending on your doctor. And I think it's interesting of like the more confident you are in the transformation you can deliver, the a lot easier it gets to send those sales on a more frequency note. And I think the last question I have on this before we kind of move on is, do you find yourself selling the same offer in that 2-to-1 ratio, or do you rotate through offers that you are selling as like, here's one thing in my ecosystem, here's a different thing that's a different fit?
Hmm. I usually rotate. I usually, when I'm like launching an offer, and I say that in quotations because usually I will come up with an idea and the next day I'm selling it. So I'm very quick between like ideation, execution. So it doesn't feel like a launch to me, but people are like, you're launching stuff all the time. But because that's like so small, I'll usually do an initial like 3 email, and sometimes I'm selling the entire week. Like, and I don't even do the nurture part. Um, and so I would say that it usually is just that 3 email sequence, and then it kind of becomes in rotation with everything else that I'm offering, and I just try different angles when I sell, um, and because I email 3 times a week, that is math, 156 emails a year that I'm sending, which is a lot. So, I have plenty of slots to share about my different offers and different opportunities, so that also is less pressure for me that this email has to work and it has to sell and it has to be great because I'm like, there's gonna be another email about this sometime and it's gonna come back around.
Yeah.
If if you're very transparent of this is my process, this is what my email list is, you're going to get these 2 sales emails a week. If you think about the people on your list, how is that like, please sign up for my list to get sold to conversation? And like when you think about the person like on that landing page signing up, how is it a compelling sell for them to actually join the list?
Also a great question. So I usually will do a lead magnet to get on my list. It's pretty rare that I just say join my email list. And again, my lead magnets are very problem solution oriented. So they're coming in with like a problem of, okay, I am wanting to figure out what automations I can build in my business. And then Jordan has these 3 or 4 micro tools that I could purchase to help me with my automations. Right. And so, and then even in my welcome email, if they do just join my list, it says like, hey, I email 2 to 3 times a week. You don't know what day I'm going to email. You don't know what I'm going to email about. Like, this is just going to be a fun ride. And I'm here to serve and share solutions when I see them. I'm never going to email just to email. And so I'm very upfront, again, very direct. And I found my email list is very much slanted. Average time in business is about 7, 8 years. And so I have
Same.
not a beginner audience at all. And so I find that people who've been in business for a long time, they're busy, they're trying to solve problems, they got problems leaking out their ears. Like they're just like, if you have a solution for me, give it to me. And so I find it as a respect thing. Like it's
Mm.
because I don't join a ton of people's emails list because I'm just like, well, I don't need to necessarily know what you're doing today or what like I'll find that on Instagram. Like, if I want to know what you're doing today, I will go to Instagram or wherever else to find that out. Email is like, I think of like, what problems are you going to solve for me? And so that's how I orient them once they come in, is letting them know that this is about problems and solutions. This is about, if I have a solution for you, I'm going to share it. Or if I know someone who has a solution, I'm going to share it. And I think I've just gained the respect of my email list, and they love my emails, and they're just like, I love that you are trying to solve problems constantly. And so
Mm.
it's been interesting because I think most people think, oh, I should have a standard day and a standard time that I send so everyone knows when it is. It's like a TV show, they can anticipate it. And maybe that does work for some people. I have found that my people honestly love to just like be completely blindsided. Like I don't know what this, I'm like, I don't know what this says about y'all, but like they love like, what is Jordan up to? What kind of craziness is this? I want it. And I don't have to sell with a lot of urgency a lot of times, because they love that, like, I'm in my little lab and then I pop up with something cool and then I'm back in my little lab, and that's how they view me. And so I don't have to I don't have to play the typical email marketing games, because we have that understanding of just, again, I'm here to solve problems. That's all I care about. And even if I am not solving a problem for you in this email, one of these days there's going to be an email that's going to pop off for you and it's going to be great. So that's a little bit, I
I
guess.
find I find this so incredibly refreshing because a lot of like traditional workplaces, brick and mortars, you know that you're going to sign up for their email list to get updates, to get sales emails, to get reminders about flash deals, all that stuff. Like it's this understood verbal-ish contract. Like it's not a written contract, but you know what I mean. It's like this mutual
Totally.
understanding that that's what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
And a lot of creative business owners don't like to do that for reasons that we have talked about already. But you are running a business. Like to your point, that is part of why an email list is so valuable. And so listening to you just go off about that was really refreshing because you're talking about leaning into using an email list in a way that works for you while owning the role that it's meant to play for a business, and essentially using it to your advantage. Like if you're someone who does pop-up offers, make that the thing. You know, like lean into that, make it a feature, not a bug. That's something that we talk about a lot with our coaching clients, is like the things that you think are weaknesses may actually be your biggest strengths. It's a feature, not a bug. So my wheels are turning. I like this a lot.
And I think the other big thing that we'll talk about oftentimes is if you make a big deal of it, everyone else will too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, if it's just scheduled into the bottom paragraph of your weekly sectional email, people are like, oh, they didn't care about it, I don't need to care about it. Whereas if it's a splashy 3-part, like, this is a big deal, I thought about it at lunch, and you need to be excited, then they can be excited as well.
100%.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the hiding and the discreetness, you think it's being respectful and you think it's coming across as you're not trying to sell. I find that it lets me know you're not confident about your offer. And if you're not confident about your offer,
Exactly.
I sure as heck am not going to be confident about
Right.
paying you for that offer, you know? So kind of,
Right. No, I could not agree more. It's such a good reframe around it. Okay, so I have a couple tangible questions around the deliverability and specifics around sending your emails, and then I know we both want to get into how to grow your email list. So before we get to that, you've brought up deliverability a couple of different times. I know you mentioned you send about 3 emails a week, but you don't always send them on the same days. Are these like pre-written emails? Do you like kind of spin a wheel and just like see what day and time it goes out? Are you sitting there writing them spontaneously? Like what does that
Do you
look
have
like?
a fishbowl with notes in it that you just pull from
Yeah.
of like, here's the prompt?
Yeah. So funny enough, as a systems person, people are always shocked at how simple my systems are. I do have some like really intense deep automations that are where my nerdery lives. But for my emails specifically, I honestly keep a Google Calendar, and it's a certain color, and I pretty much put on there, because I don't necessarily know when my idea is going to spark and I'm going to build something. So what I usually do is I'll have at least one collab, sometimes two or three in a month. And so I'll pre-plan when those are, and I'll put it onto my Google Calendar. And then there's nurture usually. It's funny because I broke down the last year of emails, and I want to say it's not like 30, 30, 30. It is about 40% my offers, again 30% like affiliates or collabs or things like that, and then another 30 for nurture. And my nurture usually is um it was a roundup of like my podcast episodes every month, and then there were like a couple of just like, again, maybe I want to do a recap of an event that I attended or something like that. And so if I know I'm going to be going to an event and I want to do a recap of that event, I will plug that onto the calendar. So some of those get plugged first, weirdly enough, before I even have my offers ones. And then my sales ones are a little more kismet or a little more serendipitous, if you will, meaning that I usually am like, I'm talking with people in my Instagram DMs all the time. I've got Voxer threads, Telegram threads, WhatsApp threads, text messages. Like I'm talking to people all the time. Most people would be like, you are a psychopath. But I like to keep a pulse on like what people are talking about and what people are bringing to my attention, and so sometimes I'll get my best ideas that way. And so then I'll spark an idea, go into my Lovable or record something and then put it out there and sell it. And so I found that that energy of like creation and then writing the email and selling it has worked really well for me because it's that same energy throughout the whole time. And so are there days where like I'm like, okay, I'm just actually going to move this collab email because I want to sell this thing? Absolutely. Um, and but I've just found the best times for me to write emails are in that creative energy. And again, if I have an offer already and I'm talking to somebody in Voxer or Instagram DM and I know I have an offer similar to that, I will kind of dissect that conversation and then just plug my offer that I already have. So, and I've just found again that timeliness is something that is really helpful. So all of the first emails I told you about, those are all pre-written, like very, I don't want to say standardized, but kind of. But my sales emails are more of the like there's magic, there's sprinkles happening because that
Yeah.
energy comes across so much in my emails.
Okay. I like this.
I want to double click on that because we are a podcast audience of creatives and visual people. What does those emails look like? Is like you'd already answered the sections question. You don't really do sections. What about brandings or call to action buttons? Are they big? Is this just like normal typewriter text all the way down the bottom? Is it colorful? How are we looking here?
Yes. So design wise, majority of my emails don't have images. There's no like header. Like I definitely don't have an email header. Um, But something that I will do is for any of my like affiliate or collab emails, if I have a photo of me and that person, I absolutely will add that in the email because it feels like, oh, this is a selfie, Jordan and Gemma, or Jordan and the founder of Spiffy Checkout that she uses, or like things like that, because it humanizes and is like, no, like a literally know this person. Um, and so because I go to so many events, because I've done mastermind things and retreats and all this stuff, I do have a lot of buildup of pictures, which is really nice. And so I'm able to use that. And then sometimes for my like new offers, I will do one of those like mock-up things with like the laptop and the little, very like 2014 internet marketing, I will say. They're cute. They're in Canva. But
I
they
love it.
but I usually don't do a ton of images. Um, which I feel like is more of a laziness factor than anything. And I do know that sometimes when you put too many images or things like that, that can affect deliverability. So weighing that, and by too many, I don't like if you have 3 or 4 images, that's not gonna break the bank. It's like if you're doing 5, 6, 10 images in an email, that also can affect your deliverability. So I know I can toe that line. and I also like lengthwise, because I was just studying this too, was my short emails and my hello long emails are the ones that do the best. My like medium schmedium ones tend to not do as well, and I'm talking about sales. And so I it's a note that I make, but I also don't overly analyze necessarily. It's like however long I need to get my point across is how I'm gonna get my point across. And so
Can
I'm not gonna stop
can we
myself.
quantify
Quantify.
can we quantify what short, medium,
Yeah,
and long is?
short emails, 6 to 7 lines or less, like very short. Yeah. And then
So like a
long,
paragraph.
yeah, so yeah, paragraph is a short. But I do it like line by line. And then I would say medium is maybe 2 to 3 paragraphs. And then long is like I'm going down a diatribe. So like very I don't even know how long it long is, but it's long. Yeah.
You're getting an essay. Okay, that's amazing.
So subject lines is something that I play around with a lot. And oddly enough, there's a few things. Using the preview text, very helpful.
Hmm.
Like not just like letting it add like, hey, so and so, like in the preview text. And preview text that I'll use is like again, like it's usually like a thought bubble statement. It's like something that they feel like I'm
Mm,
thinking. And then the actual subject lines, again, I try to keep them as short as possible. Sometimes I actually will even add spaces to the preview text because then when someone's looking at their inbox, they'll see this like really short words and then like blank. And they're like, what is that? So that's a fun little trick if like you really want them to open. And another fun open hack is, and this is depending on your email list, but I have a ton of people who use Gmail. So whenever
mhm.
I am sending a document or link to anything, if it's not a sales page, I will always put it in Google Drive. The reason for that is because when you look at your inbox, it's a very visual thing. You can go look at, if you have a Gmail, go look at this. When you open it and someone attaches a Google Drive link, which could be a Google Doc, Google Sheet, PDF, whatever, it actually takes up more real estate inside someone's inbox. So you'll see the subject line and then you'll see that big, like it's usually red or green or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And it takes up a significantly bigger chunk of the actual inbox. And so that helps with your open rates when you're delivering freebies because they're like, oh, this big chunk, like what's going on here? So that's another fun hack that I do that again, could you use Dropbox? Yes, yes, yes. But I just like to use that hack because Gmail wants people to open emails that have a Google Drive link or a Google Doc link or whatever. So, fun hacks.
This is genius. I am really excited about all of these. You're blowing my mind. Okay, I have one last question, and then maybe Lyndon will have another before we move on to the like, let's
Mhm.
get more people on our email list portion of this conversation. So you have brought up the facts about how you don't do the whole trying to offboard, give someone a last chance to stick around for your email list. Can you walk through what that looks like for you and just give a brief definition for anyone who's just completely has no idea that this is even a thing? Like,
So, a reactivation sequence, if you are not aware, is when somebody hasn't been opening or clicking your emails, and usually people will then enter them into a reactivation sequence, which is just a series of emails that tries to get people to open or click. So you'll usually see like, is this really goodbye? Or like, you're not clicking anymore. Like, I'm so sad. Like, it's one of those kind of, um, like, get your attention subject lines to then be like, okay, they're re-engaged. They're going to start opening our emails again. Hopefully, hooray, hurrah. I I just realized like I actually kind of like this element. And again, my people just love I feel like this is a trauma response or something for them, but I don't know. But they just love this idea of just like not really knowing what I'm up to. And so the reactivation sequence just felt too predictable, especially because I have a ton of again really established business owners on my list. They are expecting the reestablish. So what I'll do is usually twice a year, I will just do a clean boot of people. Like I will look at who has not been opening and clicking, and I'm just like, see ya. Now, I have them on a Google Sheet so I can retarget them for Facebook ads, but as far as inside my
Interesting.
Kit account, they are gone. Like, see you later, bye. And it's funny,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is, I don't know what it is, but people are like, wait a second. Like, even though I wasn't opening the emails, like I still was seeing her name a lot, and now I'm not seeing her name. What's going on here? And they'll email me or they'll DM me and be like, I feel like I'm not on your email list anymore. I'm like, oh, maybe like just, here's the join link, come on back, like blah, blah. I don't tell them they got kicked out. But I guess I've just found that again, that curiosity starts to creep in when, again, I'm sending emails 3 times a week. So even if you're not opening them, you are seeing my name a lot. And so if you all of a
Right.
sudden don't see my name a lot, if you don't notice, fabulous. Then again, it wasn't meant to be. But if you do notice, then that's somebody who's like, oh, wait a second. Like I gotta up my game and I gotta make sure I'm opening the emails of what Jordan's got going on. So I'm not here to say reactivation sequences are not for you. If you feel that your people respond better by a little bit more, I guess, direct communication, then actually trying this approach could be interesting. And and it's scary because again, some people are spending money and ads on building their email list. Like there's definitely leads that I've bought and well, there goes that $2, $3, $5, $10, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I my email list is one of the most engaging email lists. I only have 9,400 people on my email list. It's not big. And, I've gotten up there before and it's just a vanity metric, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because if people aren't engaging, then why are they there? And so
Yeah.
determining if a reactivation sequence is for you is like, hey, I want to give people an opportunity to just hop right back in, or the more direct approach of, hey, I'm gonna boot you. Again, always keep people on a Google Doc. Like I have the massive, I don't even know how long that is, but a massive Google sheet of every person that has been on my list and now is no longer. And again, I can use that for retargeting on ads or a variety of things. So it's something where I have a little bit more chutzpah, so I understand it's a little harsh. And I've just found that to be really helpful for me. So look at your data, look at what is, most helpful for you. But yeah, I give people the boot twice a year. And then sometimes I think I have mentioned it to my email list once of like, hey, like sometimes I do boot people off. So like if you
Yeah.
want to hang around, make sure you open my emails. And they're like, this lady's crazy, but I love it. So, you know,
So,
again, it works
so
in my
for
favor.
you, you do it twice a year. You don't necessarily look at people who have not opened in like 6 months or things like that. It's just a
Yeah.
standard
Yeah.
yearly
Like a
practice.
January, July thing. It's
Interesting.
actually kind of more it's like more
So
March.
fair warning to anyone listening.
Yeah. So it's like yeah, so it's because again, people expect it in January because
Yeah.
they're doing stuff. So again, I don't like to do things that people expect. So I kind of do it in the
Hmm.
middle months, if you will.
No, I really like that a lot. Okay, let's talk about the marketing side.
So if we pivot a little bit to someone that doesn't have an email list, they've listened to all of this and they're all fired up. They're going to start sending emails every day to their mom. How do they grow that email list to people that are actually going to buy things?
Yes. So if you're starting at zip, you say plus mom. I would say looking at, okay, what again is the one problem that I solve that's like the biggest glaringest problem that my offer solves,
Hmm.
and then what's the problem right before that? And creating some sort of lead magnet, freebie, whatever you want to call it. It could be a private podcast, it could be a PDF. I know people say, "Oh, PDFs are old" or whatever. So my people love PDFs. We're just going with the data, so I don't have any judgment around it. And so whatever format works for you works for you. Maybe it's a free video and then setting that up to be how people get onto your list. I found that it's much harder if you have a traditional email list to have like a join my newsletter or join my list entry point because again, the newsletter format it works because it's like every week you're going to get these same blocks and you're going to learn these same things. But for again an email list that's for sales, again, that is a little bit harder of a sell per se. And so sticking to what problem comes right before my problem. For example, so for my carpool content, which is a micro tool that I built where you can voice note your content and AI builds it for you. So you can like be in the car just yapping and there it goes. And so right before that, I actually put a B-roll shot list as the problem before the problem. So the first problem is like my main problem is I'm not able to create content because I'm not in I'm not at a desk or I'm not, in some sort of stable place. And so my B-roll shot list is like, here are all the places you could be in life, like grocery store, car, or
Mm,
wherever else that you can just film yourself for 10 seconds and then that you have a piece of content, right? And so then it's like, okay, now that you have some stuff filmed, then like, how do you actually create content with that? Like, what are the words you need to use, the caption? So that's how those two problems are. So people have come a lot through that shot list freebie and then end up purchasing my carpool content. So don't do something that's so far away from your paid offers that it then becomes a whole situation of figuring out the bridge between them both. So keep it super tight, one problem away or the problem before the problem that you solve, and creating a lead magnet for that. And then I've done a bunch of different things especially in the beginning of either lead magnet swaps with other people or sharing or whatever. I have done a lot for me, actually, when I was first starting, I did a lot with my podcast where again, if you have some sort of other medium, podcast, Instagram, LinkedIn, threads, whatever, consistently again, sharing stuff because I sell all the time on my Instagram too and my threads. Like this two sales to one nurture is pretty much across everything that I do. So, because again, I'm a business. I want sales every day, ideally. So having that mentality of okay, sharing my lead magnet and sharing my offer, and then also, some nurture in between that kind of breeds across everything. But I also want to shout out with Kit, there is the creator network. And I was just talking
mm.
to somebody who created a brand new email list account and she helps authors. And she was able to get like 30 new subscribers in a week, like her first week on Kit, because she just started on Creator Network, which is
Wow.
an opportunity on Kit where you can actually, when somebody, so say Joe and Lyndon are getting a freebie person, a subscriber. And then on the next page, they're prompted and saying, oh, you can also join Jordan's newsletter, which is a similar vein of stuff. And so people can say, yes, I do want to join Jordan's list. And so now my list is growing because Joe and Lyndon are referring me. And so people
Hmm.
think, oh, I have to have a big list in order to be referred. That is not the case. And one of the best ways that I've seen a lot of like newer people just jump on the bandwagon, start on the creator network, and literally get like 30 subs a week, like not doing anything really, like just people joining. So it's that one is fascinating. I love that feature.
No, that's mind blowing to me.
Mental note: I need to go and update our profile because
Yes, you do.
it might be out of date.
We have a few mental notes from this conversation already. I'm curious so when you're looking into growing, since we're on that topic, I love something like the Creator Network, making things work for you, letting people speak your name for you. That's amazing. Obviously, there's still areas that you need to promote yourself. Like you've mentioned, you have used your podcast in the past, threads, I believe you said Instagram. So what are some of your favorite ways to market and encourage people to sign up for your email list past the traditional freebie route?
Mm, this is good. So I would say past the traditional freebie route. Again, I'll usually do like a Easter egg-ish strategy. And what that looks like is, again, if I am doing like an Instagram series or something like that, then I'll have little Easter eggs that like you can only get on my email list. And then also, second to that is I will have email list only offers. Like there's definitely people who just follow me on Instagram, they've never seen some of my offers. So because I only send them to my email list. What happens then is those people who get it on my email list then share it outwardly. And then people are like, wait a second. Again, that's usually, I thought I was on Jordan's list. You might have gotten kicked out. I was on Jordan's list. Like, I thought I was getting these. Like, I need to know what's happening. Like, I want these opportunities. So if you create, again, past the traditional like freebies, is if you're creating email only opportunities or cool things going on, a lot of times people will then share it outward. And then that's a way to get people back on your list or on your list in the first place, because they're like, wait, I want those opportunities too. And that sounds dope. And like, I totally missed it. Right. So using the FOMO of again, even if it's a few people on your list, if it's that good of an offer, an opportunity, people will want to share it elsewhere. So and again, you can equip. And another thing too is, I haven't played with this one, but I've seen a lot of people do this well. And Spark Loop is actually a kit, feature opportunity where if someone refers somebody to your email list, then they can either get merch or they can get swag. They can get an opportunity to be on your podcast. They can get a one-on-one call, whatever you want to have. So say if somebody sends 10 new subscribers and you're able to track that, then you can reach out to them and say, hey, like, let's book a 30-minute, like, I want to connect with you. Right. So that's another
Mm,
cool way that isn't freebie oriented that I've also seen people just
mhm.
like kill it with.
I think that the theme of what I'm hearing and all of that is it's about quality. And so you want quality subscribers on your email list. You want quality content in what you're delivering. You want quality offers that you believe in that you're selling. And you want quality recommendations from other people. So, like, that's kind of a big deal, which I imagine also helps build hype and retention for you. And so I'm curious if we bring that over to the how often you would post about your email list. Does it play into that too? Like, are you actually posting less than someone would think you are about your email list because it's more about the quality than the quantity?
Mm, I don't think so. Like, especially for my Instagram, like, I use ManyChat like a crazy person. And again, it's funny. People are like, people hate ManyChat. I'm like, literally lies, because my data says my people love ManyChat. So I'm gonna keep doing it. And if you don't like it, see ya. But I find that, again, people, and going into a little bit of ManyChat strategy is when people, they're like, oh, okay, I want this thing she's talking about. There's a few
Mm-hmm.
ways people can get on your email list. They can either, type in their email, and then automatically with Kit, for me, for example, people can just join my email list, get the freebie. Another thing that I found really interesting, and for a lot of my Instagram series where it's like for 30 days, I'm talking about this one topic or whatever, and there's like again, a freebie or a video or something attached. What I'll say is, okay, here's like the freebie and you can watch it right now. And then there's a second button that I'll do that says, like, or do you just want me to email it to you? Like, so you don't lose it. And people will be like,
Mm,
well, yes, I do. And then that's how they get on my email list as well. So thinking through, again, it's not just, oh, sign up for this thing and get it. It's, hey, you can have it right now, which go off and frolic if you wish. And you may also just, like, wanna have this, like, in your inbox, because I know you're not gonna come back to these DMs and find it. And it's interesting how many people do click that. And they're like, "Yes, please send that to me in an email." And I let them know they're gonna be on my list and they can unsubscribe anytime, right? So, that I would say people actually probably know how often, for me specifically, I'm talking about my email list, because I am giving a ton of different freebies opportunities. Whereas, again, I wouldn't say you need a ton of freebies starting out. So for those of you at like Goose Egg plus Mom, don't do all of the freebie stuff that I'm talking about necessarily. Pick a few freebies and like run with them. Where I'm at, my people love like a quick Loom video or a checklist or whatever. And so those are opportunities for people to get onto my email list. And I just have quick deliverable emails that, again, are not, they're like 3 lines long, but they at least get them on my email list and get them oriented into my world. So I would say the multiple freebies thing is like a intermediate advanced scenario for beginners.
mhm.
Just stick with a couple freebies.
This is so good.
This is so interesting, and definitely I will be revisiting some of our growth strategies. adding in that to my list of things to revisit after this.
Right.
Before you ask your next question, I just appreciate so much how much you bring automations and workflows into this because it's about working smarter, not harder. I know that's such a common phrase, but like you truly are putting that into practice. And so traditionally, you get a lot of marketing advice around emails about like adjust how you're talking about your offer or like just talk about your email list more to get more signups. And I heard so many different strategies from you in the past 45 minutes that I have not heard other people speak so openly about. I feel like I finally have some good quality answers around it. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's just appreciation for this.
Oh,
I think
appreciate it.
probably the last one that I have as we get to kind of the bottom here is the place where a lot of people get stuck with sales email is how do I ask for money? So do you have like a couple go-to just like call to actions that you use in that rotating order?
Yes. So a few things that I do when it comes to the sale. If it is a high ticket price point, I usually do not put it on in the email. And that is on purpose because I want them to say, I do have this problem. I'm going to raise my hand, click, and go to the sales page. If it's a lower ticket, like if it's like $49, $99, I usually will put that in the email up front because then people are like, oh, great. Like I have this problem and it's like nothing. Fabulous. So that's like a psychology thing a little bit. Something else that I do is in the sales emails, my CTA, I don't actually use buttons a lot. I found that usually just using a hyperlink that I bold is something that, again, just catches people's eye. They click. And I also, again, I go deep into the data, y'all, but I was reviewing, okay, how many times do I actually put like an opportunity to click? And again, people say put multiple links to click because if they're in that section of the email, you want them to be able to just click and move forward. The emails I only put one link in get the highest clicks. So look at your data. But even for my long emails, some of them just have one hyperlink bolded, call to action, and that will get more clicks than seeding it throughout. So again, I'm not saying that's what everyone needs to do, but just potentially try it and see if it like works better. So my CTAs are usually like click here to get this, get you've got sales, which is an offer I have, or it is like, grab this if you're struggling with this solution or this problem, those sorts of things. So it's very like direct in nature. Something else I do, like beyond the click that I think is really helpful is in Kit, there's something called link triggers. And this is again, it's more fun automation stuff. When people
I'm
click
here
that
for it.
email or when people click that link, they actually are tagged interested in whatever the topic is. So like if I'm sending an email about my micro tools and or building a micro tool, then they'll say interested in micro tools when they click that link. Then what happens is they go into a automation that once somebody clicks that link, they kind of delay or wait for about 3 hours. And then I do a condition, which is like, if this, then that. And so my
Hmm.
condition is if they click this link and they do not have the purchase micro tools tag, then I want you to follow up with them. And I want you to say, oopsies, like, did you forget to, buy this thing that you were just checking out not so long ago? Right. And that's actually what I call an abandoned site email because they may not have actually put their information into a checkout. But because I have their information in my email list, I know if they went there versus if somebody just like found it on Google. And so, and then, if they do have the purchase link, I don't send them a follow up because they did the thing I wanted, which is buy it. And so I usually will sometimes I'll send one email, sometimes I'll send two or three. And again, that will bring in more sales because again, people are just like, she's nuts and being ridiculous. Like a lot of times I'll say things like, oh, like did Amazon like, whisk you away? And they're like, what is happening? And I'm like, sometimes I'm trying to buy something and Amazon does the doorbell and then I totally forget to buy the thing. So if that's you, come on over. Here's the link. I'll make it easy for you. So having kind of a cheeky nature to it is fun too, but the automation is where the fun part is because it's like I don't then have to naturally follow up and try to get that sale myself. It's just my email marketing doing it for me. So those things are called link triggers. They're in most email marketing platforms, but I use Kit.
That's amazing. And also on that note, guys, I know we've brought up Kit a few times in today's conversation. If you guys want to try it out for yourself, we do have an affiliate link for you. We'll drop it in the description. So please go check them out. We do love using them. We have some things we need to play around with after this to make the most out of our own email list. But definitely go check it out. There's so much that you can do with them. And they're constantly adding more things that you can do, which is just really, really cool. So I think this brings us to the lightning round. This has been freaking beyond incredible. Thank you. We love to end our podcast episodes with a fun lightning round where we just get to know you and fun little facts about you to wrap things up. So the first question is, what book are you currently reading?
Ooh, book I'm currently reading is I feel like I need to check my Kindle. I'm actually I like read multiple books in small I'm not a read one book all the way through. I like dibble dabble. Actually, one that I'm reading that's
Same.
really interesting is The Sponsor Magnet by Justin Moore. Um, he's got a cool one. And then also Jay Yang is You Can Just Do Things. So those are the two
Cool.
that I'm like going back and forth with.
Never heard of that one.
Good to know. Good to know.
As someone that runs their own business and does many other things, what does a typical day in your life look like?
Yes. So typical day is wake up, walk the dog. I make a ground beef and mushroom little scramble for breakfast, which sounds really random, but it has to do with my iron levels and whatever else. So I do that, my mushroom coffee, and then I pretty much just get to work pretty right away. And nowadays, again, I'm splitting my time between Kit and System Save Me. Kit is my 9 to 5. So 9 to 5, I'm in meetings. I'm usually trying to figure out cool ways to interact with affiliates. And so that's pretty much 9 to 5. And then after 9 to 5, I usually will go. Sometimes my bonus son will have a football scrimmage or basketball game or something. So I'm going to do that. And because of how I built System Save Me, a lot of what I can do is mobile. So I will usually work System Save Me stuff on my phone a lot of times. So not even on my laptop. And so I'll do that. Sometimes I'll have to film content. And then I've actually finally built a video editor in Claude. So now when I create my videos, whether it's talking head, I just send it to Claude. It does the video editing for me and then sends it back. So that's pretty much a typical day. I usually will sauna blanket at night, watch a Survivor rerun or two, and then I'm out.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going to add a bonus lightning question here.
Yeah,
Top
great.
3 AI things you do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the Claude video editor is like I'm getting chills. I always have loved to do my own editing because I'm again a little bit I white knuckle that, and I kept seeing people talk about it. And I was like, ugh, like let me just figure this out, and it's amazing. I'm doing an Instagram series right now, and it's completely edited by Claude, like step by step, and it has the fonts. It knows when to drop this certain audio. It knows, yeah, wild. That
What?
one. And then,
I'm going
I
to
have
go look at
so
the
many
series
follow-up
after
questions.
this.
we can offline. Claude Code for video editing. Another one is, oddly enough, my carousels that I have a project inside ChatGPT. I should probably just move it to Claude, but it's so good in ChatGPT that I just don't want to move it. That again, my carousels that do really well, I always am using that particular project for. So again, I ChatGPT, and then I actually use Poppy AI is my third one, and that one is where I can look at different industries and look at, okay, what is doing really well in that industry, and then how do I tailor it to my industry or online marketing or systems or automation, and have it for a real topic or a carousel topic, and that will kind of help flow into what I want to create then from content perspective.
I am obsessed with the way your brain works, Jordan. Like,
It's
I
wild over
needed this
here.
conversation. Okay, this is fantastic. Two more quick questions and then we'll wrap it up. Who are you learning from right now?
So many people. So someone I'm really enjoying is Cassie Scoovner, I think is how you say her name. So she talks about like Instagram, but also automation, many chat AI stuff. I really like her vibe. She's very similar to me. She's like usually just like in a t-shirt, like out at the park or something, just talking. But she has some really cool editing styles that I admire, but also her content is really good. Another one is Mariah Brunner. Sorry if I'm butchering names, but she talks all about Claude. And I found that she's the best at saying it in layman's terms or just like regular human
Hmm.
talk versus like really deep. Because as much as I love tech, I still like to keep it pretty like fifth grade language level because I'm just like, it's faster that way. So
Mhm.
I would say those two, I'm really enjoying their content and learning from.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, last question.
Last question. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes. So I actually want to turn the AI question onto y'all. I like love to learn what people are doing with AI. So I would love to know what y'all are doing with AI.
I feel like I just learned so much from you on ways I can experiment with AI because I feel so late to the party on that. And I'm still kind of like, for Lyndon is much more like in the zone, experimenting. I'm personally still learning all the different things that I would want to play around with and try out with AI. So, um, I don't have a great answer on that myself, but I know that Lyndon definitely does.
I think so. The two frames that I think of AI that kind of like trickles down is one, I think of AI as a really good intern. So it has no idea what it's doing, but it can follow steps. And two, I think it's better for process than for creativity.
Yes.
And so a lot of like the types of things that I think about is like repurposing. So we do a lot more like long form like this, like podcasts. And I don't want to write a transcript. So like it'll do a transcript, but then I can pull that transcript and do a lot of things. And we run a community with lots of calls. Zoom transcripts are like my favorite thing because I can do so much with them and I can turn that into like a valuable thing of here's the 5 steps that we talked about on this call that broken into like the examples, and that can just get plugged straight back into the community because there's just this wealth of knowledge, and an hour of spoken word is not like asking an AI to create things or hallucinate. It's grounded on this. Can we turn it into something else? And there's a lot of different like avenues that I do that, but I do a lot more like transformation rather than original creation. And that's something I've been playing with a lot that I really like.
Ironically, I have never used this myself, but I am fascinated by it and I bring it up probably more than surprising. I love whisper flow.
Gosh, yes. Oh, that was gonna be
And
my
so I really should just try it out, but I really love the concept. I just haven't known if I personally needed to use it yet, but I've recommended that to a lot of our clients.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys aren't familiar with Whisper Flow, I'll do my best to explain it. It's basically a way for you to be able to yap out all your thoughts, and it condenses your thoughts so that it is summarized for you. Like it doesn't have the ums, the uhs. It just punctuates it so that it's one steady thought for you, which I think is amazing.
I think possibly the last thing in this like transformation thing is it's changed how we've communicated a lot. So one-on-one coaching clients, it's really common that we're just like, you can send a voice memo for this. You don't have to fill it into a Google Doc because I can take a transcript of that and like, here's the questions we asked them, put it into this doc. So like the next time we chat about it, it's just there. And so we can now talk in the modalities with people that are the most intuitive to them. And it doesn't have to be structured. It doesn't have to be bullet points. It doesn't have to be any of those things because now there's a tool that will translate your favorite modality to our favorite modality.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah, whisper flow is definitely a fun one because yeah, I'm actually a pretty fast typer. Back in like fifth grade, my computer told me to slow down, oddly enough. And so I'm just like, my mom brings up that story anytime you meet her.
I
But
love it.
like, I'm a pretty fast typer, but sometimes that stream of consciousness like uncovers more than like you having to like think about, because naturally you're just kind of filtering yourself into sentences versus like
Hmm.
the flow that can really happen. So yeah, I'm a big whisper flow person too. Totally.
Yeah.
A lot of
There's so
fun.
many possibilities. I'm going to have to re-listen to this conversation to just like remind myself of the different tools and workflows I want to try out after this. So thank you again. This has been such a valuable conversation, and both of us are very, very grateful with just how generous you were with the strategies and the workflows and automations and just all the ways that you use emails to your advantage and really own it as a business owner was really refreshing to hear. So thank you on behalf of our audience. Thank you for doing this. You're amazing. How can anyone come and connect with you further if they want to be in your world, learn more, et cetera, et cetera?
All the things. So I do love Instagram. That's my jam over there. So just at system saved me, plural systems, not just one system can save you, y'all, but multiple systems saved me. And then if you do want to join my email list, there is systemsaveme.com/join. You can hop on in and again see it in action and see, the wackadoodle world that I've built for myself there and see the actual strategies in play, which I think will be really fun. So I would say those are two places.
Sweet. We'll drop all those links in the description for you guys for easy access. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end. You're amazing. Fun fact, if you guys really enjoyed this conversation, like I believe you did, Jordan is actually our guest speaker inside of the break room this month in July. So if you want to learn even more about emails and how to sell in them and shoot your shot, you should definitely join the break room. It's going to be on July 21st, I believe, and there will be a replay afterwards. So that link will also be dropped in the description. You guys are welcome to go check out more details. Feel free to reach out to Lyndon and I on Instagram at Joe and Lyndon if you have any questions about what's involved in the break room, all that good stuff. If you're a good fit, we got you. We can always talk more about it. But she's going to be our guest speaker, and we're really, really excited. So if you want part 2 of this conversation, then please come join us. It's going to be a really, really great time. All right, you guys are amazing. We will see you on the next episode. And thank you again for sticking around. And thank you, Jordan, for just sharing your brilliant knowledge with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.